안녕하세요. I'm An Cha-ki, your host for Let's Speak Korean. Now, 지승현 선생님, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 지승현입니다.
Now, we learned how to use the past tense in our last lesson. Shall we get a quick review? Now, 선생님, when did you get here? 선생님, 언제 왔어요?
9시에 왔어요.
몇 시에 일어났어요?
6시 20분에 일어났어요.
Now then, we'll find out what's in this edition of Let's Speak Korean. Now let's find out what's in store.
배 고파요. 도서관에서 공부를 많이 했어요. 민욱 씨, 뭐 먹을래요? 글쎄요. 뭐 먹을래요? 비빔밥 먹을래요. 낮에 비빔밥 먹었어요. 김치찌개 먹을래요.
뭘 드시겠어요?
비빔밥하고 김치찌개 주세요.
예.
Michael and Minuk are ordering at a restaurant. They ask each other what they want to eat, and Michael wants bibimbap, and Minuk wants to eat kimchi-jjigae. Now, they are both very popular Korean dishes. Let's find out what's in this lesson then. When you want to tell someone what you want to eat, all you have to do is state the word for the food, followed by 먹을래요. And when you want to pose the question to someone, just say 뭐 먹을래요? Before we go on, let's go over the names of some Korean dishes. You'll need to know them to be able to order in a restaurant. Now, please repeat after 선생님.
비빔밥, 비빔밥. 김치찌개, 김치찌개. 불고기, 불고기. 갈비탕, 갈비탕.
I'm afraid you'll just have to memorize these words. Now, it may actually help if you get to try out some of these dishes. Now, let's find out how these words are used in the conversation.
뭐 먹을래요? 비빔밥 먹을래요. 김치찌개 먹을래요.
Now, among the many famous Korean dishes, bibimbap is one of the most famous. Now, it is a mixture of fried vegetables in a hot pepper paste. Right. I'm sure many of you have already tried it, and many of you actually like it. So, how would you say that I want to eat bibimbap in Korean?
비빔밥 먹을래요.
If you know the name of the dish, you should have no problem ordering in a restaurant. Now, the waiter will probably bring you what you want if you know the name of the dish. So all you have to do is say bibimbap, and they'll know what you want. Now, how would we say that we want kimchi-jjigae in Korean?
김치찌개 먹을래요.
Now, kimchi-jjigae is also another very famous Korean dish. It's kimchi in a stew. Right. Again, all you have to do is state the name of the dish, followed by 먹을래요. Okay, remember the little grammar point in Korean is that you can leave out the object particle in a sentence. So instead of saying 비빔밥을 먹을래요, you can simply say 비빔밥 먹을래요, and leave out the object particle 을. Now, let's get some practice making some other sentences.
비빔밥 먹을래요. 김치찌개 먹을래요. 불고기 먹을래요. 갈비탕 먹을래요.
민욱 씨, 뭐 먹을래요? 글쎄요. 뭐 먹을래요?
Now this time we're going to learn how to ask someone what he or she wants to eat before we order in a restaurant. Now we have come across the word moi many times in our previous lessons, and we are going to be using this word to ask the question. Now just remember to raise your voice at the end of the sentence to let your listener know that this is a question. So the question is, 뭐 먹을래요?
뭐 먹을래요?
Now, simple, isn't it? Remember that you can use either moi or 뭘. It doesn't matter. So, you can either say 뭐 먹을래요 or 뭘 먹을래요. They both mean the same thing. Please repeat.
뭐 먹을래요? 뭐 먹을래요? 뭘 먹을래요? 뭘 먹을래요?
Now we're going to practice all of the expressions that we have come across in this lesson. So please repeat after 선생님 and I.
뭐 먹을래요? 비빔밥 먹을래요.
뭐 먹을래요?
김치찌개 먹을래요.
뭘 먹을래요?
불고기 먹을래요.
뭘 먹을래요?
갈비탕 먹을래요.
For that extra expression. Now, there was another unfamiliar expression in the clip that we saw earlier. Now, it's an expression that waiters in restaurants often say to their customers. Now, they don't say 뭐 먹을래요, but instead they use the expression 뭘 드시겠어요?
There are many honorific forms in Korean language when we have to use when we're talking to an older person or customers. So, 드시겠어요 here is the honorific form of 먹을래요. 뭘 드시겠어요? 뭘 드시겠어요?
Okay, there were two new expressions in what we have learned in this lesson. They were 배고파요 and 글쎄요. Now, 배고파요 means I'm hungry. And 글쎄요 is a word that we use when we are thinking about something. So in English, it would be roughly equivalent to something like, well, okay, let's get some practice then.
배고파요. 배고파요. 글쎄요. 글쎄요.
Let's get a wrap-up of the lesson. We are going to go over the expressions one by one along with the clip.
배 고파요.
배고파요.
도서관에서 공부를 많이 했어요.
도서관에서 공부를 많이 했어요.
민욱 씨, 뭐 먹을래요?
민욱 씨, 뭐 먹을래요?
글쎄요. 뭐 먹을래요?
글쎄요. 뭐 먹을래요?
비빔밥 먹을래요?
비빔밥 먹을래요?
낮에 비빔밥 먹었어요.
낮에 비빔밥 먹었어요.
김치찌개 먹을래요?
김치찌개 먹을래요? 뭘 드시겠어요? 뭘 드시겠어요?
비빔밥하고 김치찌개 주세요.
비빔밥하고 김치찌개 주세요.
We are going to go over the entire clip once again, so please use this chance to memorize the expressions.
배 고파요. 도서관에서 공부를 많이 했어요. 민욱 씨, 뭐 먹을래요? 글쎄요. 뭐 먹을래요? 비빔밥 먹을래요? 낮에 비빔밥 먹었어요. 김치찌개 먹을래요?
뭘 드시겠어요?
비빔밥하고 김치찌개 주세요.
예.
It's time now to learn Korean characters. Now this time we're going to learn about the character sang-shiot. Now it actually means double shiot, and it looks like the shiot characters, actually two shiot characters, one next to the other. Now this character is called sang-shiot. Sang-shiot, remember that? Now let's find out how to write it. Just start with a shiot followed by another shiot right next to it.
쌍시옷, 쌍시옷, 쌍시옷.
Now we'll add the vowel sound a to the character sang-shiot to come up with the letter sa.
싸, 싸, 싸.
Now what about some words with the character sang-shiot? Let's find out.
싸요, 싸요. 써요, 써요. 마이클 씨, 마이클 씨.
Well, we've reached the end of another edition of Let's Speak Korean. Now, in this lesson, we learned how to order our food in a restaurant. Now, please remember the expression as it will come in very handy. Now, all this talk about food is making me very hungry. Now, why don't we go out and do some ordering of our own after this lesson?
Sounds good.
Okay. Now, 선생님은 뭘 먹을래요?
비빔밥 먹을래요. 안착기 씨, 뭐 먹을래요?
배고파요. 불고기 많이 먹을래요. Okay. Now, why don't you try ordering yourself some bulgogi the next time you visit a Korean restaurant? I'm sure you'll like it. Okay. Now, let's stop here for now, and until next time, 안녕히 계세요.